Hello and welcome back to Nerd News Today Toy Fair 2021. And now joining me on the other side of the screen in California, where it's a lot warmer than it is here in New York today, that's for sure. We have the VP of Icon Heroes, Mr. Pat Wang. Pat, how's it going
Hey,
today?
good, Matt. How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. So, Pat, first question before we start talking about all the different things that Icon Heroes has coming out. What was your favorite toy as a kid growing up?
When I was young, I collected everything. Star Wars, probably Star Wars. I mean, we would get a lot of the brand new Star Wars stuff here before a lot of other people because my parents would come visit overseas and they'd come back from like Singapore and they'd have the first releases of all the. I remember specifically all when before Return of the Jedi came out, they brought back all these figures, but of course back then no one knew any better, so they had already took off the blister cards because it took up too much space in the suitcase. But they saved part of it, so I knew who the character was. But these are characters like I remember Leia in the bush disguise was one of them, and I had no idea who that was because back then we didn't know who any of the characters were going to be in the movie coming up. I remember the Star Wars figures specifically, but I collected GI Joe, some Transformers, and some of the Masters of the Universe figures. That's about it. Some of those old ones.
I hope you still have those original Star Wars figures too, because those are worth
I
money
don't,
now.
I don't have anything. I actually haven't collected anything, so I don't have any of the stuff from before. Unfortunately, the figures I had before, we always put our initials on the bottom of the feet because you're playing with all your friends. You want to make sure that no one takes what's yours. And I remember when I started collecting comics later, and I stopped playing with the figures, I would trade in all those old figures to a comic shop for comics. So I remember specifically trading a whole bunch of loose Star Wars figures for I can't remember which X-Men comic it was. It was one of the ones that was pretty I want to say it was like X-Men 95 or one of the really sought after ones. But yeah, I don't have anything anymore.
So, at the very least, hopefully you traded up a little bit. So, not the worst thing.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So, how has the pandemic affected Icon Heroes? We saw you last year at Toy Fair. In fact, we didn't have a
Um
chance to do a booth tour, but that's when
yeah,
talk kind of first began of all this stuff happening. So, a year later, how has it affected
yeah.
your company?
It actually hasn't affected us too much. Of course, as far as doing trade shows, we missed that the most. We were supposed to be at Emerald City Comic Con, WonderCon, and San Diego Comic Con, but we didn't get a chance to interact with the fans. That's what we probably missed the most. But I think what we found is it hasn't really affected us too much sales wise because a lot of people who were planning on going there anyway, they actually ended up saving a lot of their money on travel expenses. And we found that they've actually spent more online. And I think you see that across the board with a lot of the online stores like Amazon and Target, Costco. People are buying a lot of stuff online.
It's interesting because this we kind of heard from different places and different people, and a lot of them are saying that despite reports saying that's been not a great year for toys, in reality, a lot of the companies I've spoken to have had like pretty great years or haven't really been hit
Yeah,
that much. I mean, they've had delays,
yeah,
but otherwise, hasn't really been a huge hit,
right,
surprisingly.
right. Delays for sure. I mean, there's a lot more delays going on, especially when you're bringing stuff over from China. You got to deal with a whole lot of uh, other things such as customs clearances and getting stuff unloaded from the containers, and those are all being delayed at the ports. So it's getting a lot longer to get stuff in stock. But sales wise, it hasn't really affected us too much.
So one of the big surprises that came out last year, and I think now the toys are on the way, is that you guys are doing Karate Kid action figures, and this is like such a great license. I wish more people were doing it, and you guys are doing like super articulated figures about these toys too. So, yeah, tell us about the Karate Kid action figures.
Yeah, that's Karate Kid is one of the movies I grew up with back in the '80s. I still love that show. Cobra Kai is knocking it out of the ballpark right now on Netflix. That was something I was super excited to do. We had done action figures before from ABC's Once Upon a Time series, and we made a few of the characters from that show. So we were kind of familiar with the action figure um, category. We don't do a whole lot of them, but Karate Kid felt like something that had to be done as an action figure because of the of all the posability that it requires to reenact all of the fighting scenes from the movie. We had already done the Karate Kid statues. We did a Johnny versus Daniel statue as a GameStop exclusive. That was on their site and in stores. and we did a few Karate Kid pins and stuff. But the action figures is the one that we really wanted to do. So we were really excited to do that, and they actually shipped. The first shipment had gone out in, I think, November, completely sold out. We just got in our second shipment last week, and we're pretty much sold out of that one. And we have a third one coming out probably. Well, I'm going to assume there's going to be some delays and stuff. So I'll say maybe May or June, possibly, for the third shipment. And we also are working on a lot more characters coming out this year that I can't say right now, but we've got a lot of people asking for more characters. And I can assure the fans that we have more characters from the Karate Kid films coming out this year.
When you say more characters, are we talking about redecos of Daniel and Johnny, or are we talking completely new folks, or
Both,
combination?
both redecos, brand new characters. Both, I would say both. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, playset. I'm not sure. It's if there's enough demand for it. Right now, we're not really focused on that. We've seen some pretty cool dioramas from other fans who've already gotten their figures and made some really nice dioramas for them. But that's not something that we're actually focused on right now. So at this time, no, but we wouldn't be doing any playsets right now.
I'm sure you can't really name any names if this is something that you were going to do, but are there plans for Icon Heroes to continue and do more action figure lines this year or next year and beyond?
There are. We haven't finalized anything yet, so there's nothing that we can say. But yeah, we do have other plans to hopefully do more action figures from other lines. But like we're not, we do a whole bunch of different things. We do a lot of statues, mini busts. We do bobbleheads, pins. We're kind of all over the board, and we kind of like to give fans a little bit of everything, because there's always people who collect certain things, not just action figures, not just pins, not just bobbleheads. So we're kind of all over the place and just pumping out whatever we think the fans will want.
In fact, I think what I know you guys best from is your action pins, and so I'm curious to hear, what you guys
Oh
have
yeah.
planned for this year.
Yeah, the action picture is something new that we're doing. It's a kind of little extra feature on the classic enamel pins. We've done a whole bunch of pins in the past, but we want to add something different. So we came up with this pretty cool feature where the pins actually have moving parts to them, hence the name Action Pins. So we're launching that with Ghostbusters. We have a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man coming out, and some Street Fighter characters with like movable legs or hands, kind of to reenact some type of fighting action. The Street Fighter line we're pretty excited about. We're collaborating with a well-known artist, Tracy Tubera. He does a lot of street art. He's very famous for doing superheroes with like designer sneakers on them. So yeah, it was pretty exciting to do that with him.
I believe you guys also have some stuff coming out this year from Mega Man, from Top Gun.
Yeah.
So can you kind of run down some of the new licenses that we can expect to see this year and what products will be going along with them?
Right. So with Top Gun, we've already announced some enamel pins, some patches, but we're also going to be coming out with replica helmets from the new film Top Gun Maverick, which I think is coming out in June or July. So we're going to be having some replica helmets of those pilots. And with Mega Man, we're doing a whole bunch of things with that as well, such as pins. We've already come out with some pins. We've come out with some puzzles. The puzzles have done really well as well. And we're doing some high-end statues, which will be announced later this year. Mega Man, we're also doing bobbleheads. The bobbleheads are coming out, I think, around May or June, possibly a little sooner than that. So we got a whole bunch of things for Mega Man. And actually, everything that we're doing with Mega Man, we're also doing with Street Fighter. We've already had pins and puzzles out. Those are selling well. We also have bobbleheads and some statues coming out later this year as well.
So with this, you guys doing some stuff with Capcom here with Street Fighter, Mega Man.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else that's maybe, I'm sure things are secretive, but are there plans to pursue other things from within Capcom?
Within Capcom, not right now. There are some other ones that we're interested in, but nothing that we've actually just talked about right now. Right now, we're just kind of trying to get enough of the Street Fighter and Mega Man products out before we start working on some other properties.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, beyond what we just talked about here, are there any other properties that are coming out this year that you could tell us about or maybe tease us about a little bit?
Yeah, so we're excited to announce that we signed a deal with Hasbro for collectible products from Transformers, GI Joe, Power Rangers, and My Little Pony. And we'll be doing collectible pins. We'll be doing bobbleheads. We'll be doing office accessories, which is something that I'm really excited about. We actually started off doing office accessories for Masters of the Universe years ago. We did such as the He-Man and Skeletor Power Sword, letter openers, She-Ra sword letter opener. We did a Castle Grayskull card holder. We did that for Star Trek as well. We did a Spock can card holder, various letter openers. We've done bookends. So we're really excited to do that. We really feel there's a lot of possibilities with the Transformers, GI Joe, Power Rangers, and My Little Pony to kind of do what we did with those other properties and bring that to those four. And we're actually working on a whole bunch of items right now. So hopefully we'll have some things to show in a few months.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to like a GI Joe Weather Dominator letter opener or something like that, or an All
Yeah,
Spark
yeah,
business card holder. That sounds like some cool stuff.
yeah. The I mean, for letter openers, really you just have to think swords. There's Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Grimlock, the Power Rangers, various swords. The Green Ranger has one. There's a whole bunch of different ones there. Transformers. I mentioned Grimlock. Megatron. There's a whole bunch of there's a lot of possibilities we can do with those.
Yeah, I don't know if your guys' license extends over to Ghostbusters, but I would love to see like a proton gun with a beam, and the beam is the letter opener. Just throw an idea your way.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Ghostbusters, we do not have the office accessory category at this time, but you never know.
And so, also in terms of bobbleheads and statues, we briefly mentioned those. But what do you guys have coming out right now in the next few months, and what do you have planned for the rest of the year?
Right now, we have our product line planned for the year, which pretty much consists of everything that we talked about. Well, we'll start with like Karate Kid. We have, as I mentioned, a bunch of new Karate Kid action figures that will be coming out later this year. We've got more Street Fighter bobbleheads coming, more pins. We got more Mega Man bobbles and pins coming, statues as for both of those as well. I think with Top Gun I mentioned we have the helmets coming out. And those we have two different sizes actually. We have micro and mini helmets. So if you are familiar with like the NFL replica helmets from they're about 5 inches or so, we have those sizes as well as the micro ones, which are about 2 inches. Much cheaper price point. And for Hasbro for this year for Hasbro, I would say we'll be coming out with the pins and the letter openers first. There is a good chance we may have some bookends coming out this year. But as far as the baubles for those won't be out till probably next year. And they're not going to be like your traditional bobbleheads. They're going to be a little smaller, but they're also going to be more dynamic and not your typical, like we've done a whole lot of different bobbleheads. If we've done such as like our Golden Girls bobbleheads that we just came out with last year were extremely popular, but those are just your standard bobbleheads where they're kind of standing straight up, but that's not how the Hasbro ones are going to be. We feel like with these characters, they need to be more action oriented, especially like Transformers, GI Joe, and Power Rangers. So they're going to be more like, I guess you can call them action baubles.
Well, you definitely have my interest perked up right now because, yeah, I love that idea. I love that you guys have the Hasbro license now to work with. So I cannot wait to
Yeah,
see where your imagination takes these products.
yeah.
Now, something that we know a lot of folks did last year and hopefully will continue to do this year is that despite there being no conventions, some companies
Mm,
continue to make con exclusives. So,
yeah.
are there any con exclusives slated
Yes.
for this year?
Yeah, for sure. I know, obviously, Emerald City Comic Con, which is one that we're supposed to do, got pushed back to December. WonderCon is supposed to happen next month, where we haven't heard anything about that. But, there's a good possibility that is also going to be either canceled or delayed as well. But as far as San Diego Comic Con, which of course is the big one, we are still planning ahead as if it's going to happen. Obviously, as each day goes by now, I think the current state of the pandemic, it's probably less and less likely that it might happen. But we are still planning for it as if it will happen. Now, if it doesn't happen physically, hopefully there will be something virtually like last year. that which really helped us last year as well to have that virtual platform.
Well, Icon Heroes makes some really cool stuff, and I'm excited to see what's going to be coming out this year. Since now, again, you can't say every single thing that's coming out, but you've definitely teased enough where I am very, very
Yeah,
curious. Cannot wait to see it.
cool, man.
And I remember you guys actually, I think, for your very first Toy Fair, because I'm pretty sure I tried to buy like the prototype of the one of the Master of the Universe swords off you guys.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
That
pretty sure I
was
was
yeah,
not
that
the
was
only person to try and do that.
yeah. I think that toy fair was that the one where we had shown the Snake Mountain and the Castle Grayskull statues.
I think that was the same year. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah, that was
You guys have like
that
a
was a
nice small table. You guys have expanded so
yeah,
much. You guys have really just been
yeah.
kicking butt.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, it's I mean it's not easy, but we have the fans to thank for it. They're the ones who are supporting us.
And for any new fans who might have want to jump on the ship now since they just heard this interview, where can they go to follow Icon Heroes?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All our names are Icon Heroes, and you can also go to our site iconheroes.com, sign up for our newsletter.
All right. Well, Pat, thank you so much. It's been really great hearing about what's new from Icon Heroes. And, again, congratulations on the Hasbro license. That's a big, big deal. So good luck with that. Looking forward to spending some money this year on you guys. And everybody out there, make sure you follow Icon Heroes on social media. So until next time, I'm Matthew. Stick around because there's more Nerd News Today Toy Fair 2021 coming right up.